Assalamu alaikum everyone, welcome to mathematics, and today's topic is sets and Venn diagram, specifically for EDEXCEL O-level maths. Okay, and also after doing the topic we will be doing some topical questions from recent past year paper. Okay, so let's begin. Okay, starting with the definition of sets. What are sets? Sets are actually, set is a collection of well-defined objects. Okay, the objects means it can be anything, number or letter or words or anything. Okay, so let's state it. It is a collection of well-defined objects it can be numbers, things, alphabets, or words or anything else. Okay, these are a few examples. So how do we represent? Okay, after this let's see how do we represent it. The symbol for the sets is these curly brackets. All the elements of your set are written inside the curly bracket. So for example, A is a set of even numbers less than 8. So 2, 4, 6, yeah, less than 8 means 8 won't be included. So how do we represent it? We are writing the name of the set by a capital letter, then we use the curly brackets, and inside it we will write the elements of a set. Okay, so symbol is this, example is this, and the important term is well-defined objects. Okay, there should be no repetition, they should be well defined. Next is, now we are going to understand, like everything has its own terminology. In the same way, sets have their own symbols and terms. We should be understanding what each sign represent. Okay, so let's begin and understand each sign and what do they represent. So the first is when instead of giving the whole like in a curly brackets, they give you the actual elements of the set, they give the description of the set. So in that case, some signs are used, and the first of them is these two dots, which means such that. Okay, now let's see how it is used. They give you information like x such that x is an even number, x is an even number less than or equal to 20. Less than or equal to 20. Okay, this is how they most of the times gives you the description. So this is used the column. So how do we describe it? That x is an even number less than 20. So this is what they give you, and you should understand what these double dots represent. Now the next thing is, so when they give you this, what will be your set? So you can name it any with any letter. Let's say A equals to 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. Less than 20, so 20 won't be included. So this is how we will represent it when they explain your given set. Okay, let's move on to the next symbol that is used is universal set. Okay, this is how an epsilon or e kind of thing is given. So this represents universal set. Okay, what does it mean to be a universal set? It means that this set, this is the boundary of your question, this is the universe of your question. Your question won't go out of that boundary. For example, if they say that this is your universal set, which I wrote above, that x such that x is an even number, this is given as a universal set in a question. So let's take that and take it as a universal set. Okay, if this universal set is being given, so if they will say that inside this universal set there is a set A, which is x such that x is a multiple of 5, x such that x is a multiple of 5. So you are going to look for that there is a 10 inside. Yes. Okay, the first thing that comes to your mind is like x such that x is a multiple of 5. So you can write 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 up to so on. But when a universal set is being given in a question, that means that is your outer boundary. Your elements won't go out of that boundary. So you will look for only the elements that belong to that universal set. So only 10 amongst all these multiples of 5 exist in the universal set. So these all will be rejected. Okay, and only your set A in this particular question would be multiple of 5 mean 10 that is existing in your universal set. I hope this makes sense, that what is a universal set. In simple words or in your own terminology, you may say that it is the universe of this question. Universe of that question. Okay, even though the given information tells that x is a multiple of 5, but as it doesn't lies in the universal set, so the rest of the elements are going to be rejected. Okay, now let's move on to the next symbol sign, and that is phi. It is of some other language, I guess Latin language. This is a letter that is called phi. So what does this phi represent? This represents an empty set. Whenever this phi is written, it means it is an empty or null set. Sometimes in some books they use terminology null set, and sometimes they use the terminology of empty set. Okay, that means no elements are in that set. No elements. in that set. Okay, now let's say they say B is a set in which there are x elements, x such that x is an odd number. Okay, x such that x is an odd number means, okay, I will take the same universal set and I'll relate every other term, every other symbol with the same example most of the time so that you can relate to all of them. So if inside this universal set there is a set B where x is such that x is an odd number, so obviously there is the universal set is the set of even numbers less than 20, so obviously odd number won't lie in that, so there will be no odd number in it, so that means B is equals to 5, or we also represent it sometimes with empty curly brackets. Okay, both are fine. For an empty or null set also we represent it by empty brackets. Okay, this is how it is. I hope you understand. Let's move on to the next. Before going to that, let's take a note, and it says that names of sets are represented by uppercase letter, are uppercase letters. Names of set are represented by and your elements of sets will be written by lowercase letters. Okay, and elements of sets, if they are like some letters or some names, so we often represent them by lowercase letters. Okay, are represented by now. Let's move on. After this, move on to the next symbol, n of a. N of a represents the number of elements in a set. Okay, in n of a, n of b, so n, small n with brackets of the name of the set means you are supposed to tell them the number of elements in that set. Okay, so we'll write that number of elements. So let's get back to all the sets that we have described before. So starting with universal set, mostly they won't ask you about the universal set, but just for your understanding I'm doing that. Number of elements in a universal set, that the example that we have taken, let's see how many elements are there. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. So n of universal set is 9. Then let's see what are the number of elements in set A. it has only one element, so n of A is 1. And let's take also the set B. So how many elements are there in set B? 0. So let's write that up. N of P is 0. Okay, so whenever they say n of A, n of P, or any other set, so that means we have to tell them about the number of elements. So this is how we will represent that. Okay, so now let's move on to the next symbol, and that is this, a kind of C symbol. Okay, before that, let's take one more important symbol or sign. This is a kind of E that is also called epsilon. Okay, and what does it represent? It represents that we are referring to some element. Okay, and we will be writing that that element is an element of that particular set. So what does this represent? Is an element of. So if we will be writing, let's take any element, let's say 8. So we will be writing 8 epsilon and universal set, because 8 is an element of universal set. So we will be writing that 8 is an element of universal set. Now let's take your set A example. 10 is an element of set B, so we set A, so we'll write 10 epsilon A, so that represents 10 is an element of A. Let's take one more example of a set. Let's see, we have a set C that says C is equals to A, E, I, O, U. This is a set that represents vowels. Okay, so how do we write that? Now again, using your symbol epsilon, so it will be written as that I is an element of C, or O is an element of C. The next symbol is this, a C shape like symbol that represents with a line underneath, that represents subset of, is a subset of. Okay, so as a subset of means that all the elements in one set are also present in the other set. Okay, it means that all the elements in one set, say A, are also present in other set. Say set B. Okay, so how will we represent it? That set A is a subset of B. That means all the elements in set A are also in B. So let's represent A and B. Let's take some examples. For example, 1, 2, 3 and 4 is your set A, and your set B is having 1, 2, 3, 4 or also you can take C, that is going to be 1, 2 and 3. So these both sets, B and A is a subset of B and C is also a subset of B. Okay, because all the elements in set A are in B and all the elements in set C are also in B. Okay, so we can say these both sets to be subsets of B. Okay, but there is a variation in this, like there is one thing that is subset and there is a one thing that is a proper subset. Okay, so how do we, what is proper subset and how do we represent it? Proper subset is when you represent it without a line. Okay, so this is how we represent a proper subset. Proper subset. So among these two, like set A and set C, both are subsets, but only one of them is a proper subset. Okay, and which one is that? C is a proper subset of B. C is a proper subset of B. Why? Because according to the definition, a proper subset is that one a proper subset is the one that contains a few elements of the other set. So which one is that? Means it should contain less elements. Okay, or in simple words, like C should not be equals to B, then it will be a proper subset. If the other set is equals to the original one, then we will say it is just a subset. Okay, it may or may not be equal. For a set to be just a subset, the other set should be equal, can be equal or cannot be equal. Okay, so we can say that A is not equals to B, is equals to B. Okay, for a proper subset, A can be equals to B. This is just for understanding, it's not a proper thing. A is equals to B, so we can say that this is just a subset. But in case of a proper subset, both sets should not be equal. Both sets should not be equal. Not be equal. This is just for reference to understand the difference. For a proper subset, both sets should not be equal. Okay, now let's get back to the rest of the symbols, and the rest of the symbols in that we are left with, if on an equal sign you have a slash, that represents that one set is not equals to the other, so this represents not equal to. This epsilon with a slash means not an element of. For example, for this one, let me give you an example. For example, we represented a set of vowels that was like, for example, G is equals to set of vowels, that means A, E, I, O and U, and we are asking about the set, the element B. Is element B a set, is an element of set G, so we will say B is not an element of set G, but yes, A is an element of set G. If they ask you about some letters, so this is how you can do it, or we can do it with numbers as well. So this symbol represents not an element of, also not a subset of, and this represents not a proper subset of. Okay, so major part of the sets is done. Now what are we left with is some variations, like the higher type of sets and what involves your Venn diagram. So let's talk about some more things when we are concerned with the two sets. So the most often used things are this union sign U, small u. This represents union of sets. What is union of sets? For example, if you have set A to be 1, 1, 3, 5 and 7, and set B to be 2, 3, 4, 6, just writing any random numbers. Okay, so how do we represent the union? Union means you have to merge A and B. You have to write all the elements that are in A and all the elements in B, but do not write the common one. So A union B would be 1, 2, but 3 as in both, but so we will not repeat it, we will just write it once. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so this is how we write the union. So union means write all elements in A and B, and B, or merge two sets, just for your understanding, or also do write no repetition. Okay, so this is what union means. Now the next one is intersection. So intersection is the upside down U, and what does this represent? Intersection represents just the common elements. Okay, so elements that are common. So if I ask you about the same sets examples that we wrote above, so A intersection B, what are the common elements of A and B? Only 3 is common that lies in both, so 3. So A intersection B is 3. Okay, now one more thing, and we will be about 1 or 2 more things, and then we will be done with the symbols thing, and we'll move on to the Venn diagrams part. So A dash A prime or AC represents complement of A. Okay, and what does this complement of A means? Complement of A means the elements that are not in A, everything outside A, not in A, or all elements outside A, all elements outside A. So this refers to like your universal set. Like if your universal set is being given to be the set of natural numbers, let's represent that. They are natural numbers up till 7, let's say 1 2 3 4 5 6 and 7. So this is your universal set or the universe of the question, and they represent a set A that is 2 and 3. So what will be your A complement or A dash or A prime? A complement would be not A, means except these elements that are in A, all the other elements will be the set of A complement. So A complement would be 1 4 5 6 and 7. So that means not A, 2 3, only 2 3 will be emitted from your set and the rest of all the elements. Or in other words, you can also remember or understand this, that A complement or A dash also means universal set minus A. Okay, so here comes a thing minus. What does this minus represent? Yeah, it is somehow similar to the actual minus thing, but in sets we call it, like if we have A difference B, if we have a dash, so this represents difference. Okay, this is similar to the not thing, that if we have like B difference A, so that means that we have to be emitting all the elements that are in A, and we will just be writing the left behind elements of B. So B minus A would be, let's say, take some example. For example, if you have A, you have a set A that have elements 1 2 and 3, and your set B is 1 2 3 4 and 5. So B minus A means B minus A is actually A complement. So A complement we mostly use when we just want to we are not comparing two sets, but we are just talking about the universal set and the particular set. But when we are comparing two sets, then we use this difference thing. Okay, so it is somehow similar to A complement. Obviously it's not about universal set, so we cannot write this. So B minus A means subtract all the elements of A from the B, so you are left with 4 and 5 only. Okay, so B minus A means 4 and 5. That's all about complement, difference, A complement. Okay, we should be writing this also as B minus A or A minus B rather than writing just the dash sign. Yeah. We are done till sets here. We will be discussing now the Venn diagrams. What are Venn diagrams? When you visually represents the sets and the elements of the sets, these are your Venn diagrams. Okay, this is when you it is a way to illustrate elements of your sets. Okay, and what is a Venn diagram looks like? A Venn diagram looks like a rectangular box. Okay, and this rectangular box represents your universal set. Okay, and inside this universal set will be your sets shown by circles. Let's say this is set A and this is set B. Okay, now let's say what does it represent. Rectangle represent universal set, and circle represent each set. Now let's get to the thing how we represent union and intersection. If you are being given two sets that are overlapping, means they have some common elements as well, so your circles will be overlapping. Okay, like for example, you have a set A with the elements 1, 2, 3, and your set B is having 3, 4 and 5. So this means 1, 2 are here, 3 is here, and 4 and 5 are here, because 3 is common, so they will be overlapping. Okay, so I'm not representing the numbers here, but just showing you how they overlap and how it looks like. So if you have two sets that are overlapping, how do you shade it? If you have A union B. Okay, so I will just copy each time the same example. If you have A union B, then you will be shading, what you will be shading, A union B will be this part and also this part. Okay, both A and B. This is yours representing set A, this is representing set B. So A union B would be the, like, A union B is actually all the elements in set A and in set B, so we shade the whole part. How will we be shading intersection B? If we have A intersection B, then we know that in A intersection B is just the common part, so we will be shading just the middle part. Okay, then okay, also we should be writing this. Now, how do we represent the complement? Complement means A complement means everything outside A. So everything outside A would be mean this, the whole universal set, but not A. Okay, so this is how we will be shading A complement. And similarly, if we will be having B complement. Then how do you shade it? B complement means not B, means everything outside B. So leaving this B set and shading everything else will give you the B complement. So yeah, that's it. This is how it goes. Okay, these are like the some of the basic shading. Yes, there are many versions of it further, but for understanding the topical questions, this much is enough. So after that, in the next class, we will be doing the topical questions relevant to the sets and Venn diagrams. Okay, till then, Allah Hafiz. For every query, for any suggestions, you can comment us, and also if you need the notes, we can provide you with the links of all of that, and you can download all these notes from there. So please tell us in the comment box. Thank you very much, and Allah Hafiz.